Thank you for joining us again. This is a continuation of 10 steps to improve the returns of your portfolio. This is step 4, choosing a stable benchmark. All right, so we've spoken a little bit about benchmarks in the past. A quick review: a benchmark is simply the proxy you've chosen to judge the performance of your investment returns against. And why is that important? Well, you have to kind of keep tabs on how you're doing to make sure that you're on track to meet your investment goals. A lot of times people just want to kind of not look at things, and it makes it a little easier on your stomach to do that. But if you really want to realize your investment goals, you need to kind of pay attention and track your performance. All right, so what would be a correct benchmark to use as an individual? It's kind of easier to first look at what I view as incorrect benchmarks. The most widely used benchmarks I believe most individuals use is the market. And the market is what you see in the news, what you hear about on the radio, any of the investment publications out there. And those are primarily the big three, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. If you just use those because it's easy, it may or may not be okay. If all you own is an S&P 500 index fund, well, then you want to make sure that you're getting close to the S&P 500 returns. However, in most cases, that's probably not going to be the best selection for you. Another widely used benchmark that I think people use is if all you have is a 401k, you pick the top performing mutual fund in the 401k. If you do that year in and year out, if you think that what you should earn in your 401k is whichever fund did the best, you're going to be making changes year in and year out, and chances are that's going to do you a lot of harm. And finally, I think which could be the worst benchmark to incorporate is what I would call your neighbor's benchmark. And by that I mean if you're down at the bottom of the driveway picking up your paper and talking to Bud next door, and Bud happened to get, last year he earned 20%. Well, you only earned 5%. Who do you use? What investments are you using? If that's what you're going to judge your performance against, the same way as the 401k, you're going to make mistake after mistake after mistake. So, Kendall, what would you view as a good benchmark for an individual to use?
Individual investors are very unique people. Each one of us are a bit different. So if we're looking at a major overriding benchmark, to preserve wealth, you need to make sure that the money you save today will buy the same goods and services 10 years from now or 20 years from now. What can we use over history that has shown us that is similar to those figures? Of course, you have the CPI. The CPI reflects GDP, or gross domestic product, which is widely available and well known. If you're taking a certain level of risk, well, then you're going to want to add a risk premium to the GDP figure, and that's going to be your total return. Each portfolio is somewhat different, but where we see, as Justin says, the biggest mistakes people make are judging inappropriately. Secondary is not setting any benchmark at all, so you really need to have one. We believe that GDP plus a risk premium is a pretty effective benchmark for all savers, especially if they have years to go into the future.
What do you think that number would be based in today's investment environment?
Well, right now the GDP is running close to 2%. Some people think it'll be a little bit higher tomorrow, and then it's relative to the amount of risk you're willing to take. We can't go into a short-term certificate deposit or a short-term bond today and even earn that 2%, so you're going to have to add some element of risk. If you can earn a 2% premium to the inflation rate or to GDP growth, you're going to have a long-term basis, a very effective return on your portfolio. It's going to do exactly what you want it to do, which is not only preserve your wealth, but actually grow your wealth into the future.